Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Edgar Allan Poe Hour, a production by the Fairland Drama Network. Before we begin today's story, a small part in the telltale heart. It's impossible to say how I first thought of it. I loved the old man. He didn't do anything to me. It wasn't for his money. But his eye, yes, that's it. The eye was the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye. When he looked at me, it made my blood run cold. So I made up my mind to kill him. Now, I know you think I'm mad, but you should have seen me. So careful. Every night around midnight, I would turn his doorknob so carefully and stick my head in slowly. It took forever. You would have been amazed at how slowly and patiently I put my head in. Then I would open the lantern shutter so that the smallest ray of light was cast in on his vulture eye. I snuck into his room 7 nights in a row just because I could. And when it was day, I would walk into his room and talk to him like nothing was wrong. He didn't even begin to suspect I was watching him while he slept. On the 8th night, I made double sure to be quiet when opening the door. I practically laughed, knowing the power I held over him, but he must have heard me because he moved suddenly on the bed like he had awakened. The room was pitch black, so I knew he couldn't see me, but when I thought it was safe, I went to open the lantern shutter, and my thumb slipped and made a noise on the tin. The old man shot up suddenly and said, "Who's there?" I said nothing. For a whole hour, I didn't move a muscle. And he never laid back down. After a while, I heard him groan. He was terrified. He had tried to convince himself it was his imagination, but death was coming for him. He felt me there. After a while, I could hear a low but quick sound, and it grew quicker and louder, quicker and louder. It was the beating of the old man's heart. I started to feel sorry for him because I knew he had been lying there, growing more and more afraid. I went to open the lantern shutter, but I threw open the lantern shutter and, oh my God, and bleeped at him. He shrieked once, only once. I pulled him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. For a while, I could hear his heart beat with a muffled sound. When it stopped, I knew the man was dead. I lifted the bed and looked at his corpse. His eye would trouble me no more. I worked quickly to hide the body. I cut up the pieces and hid them underneath the floorboards. No one would have been able to tell. Till 3 a.m. 4 police officers showed up at my door. Someone had heard the old man shout and called the police. I told them that it was me who would shout because of a bad dream and that the old man was on vacation. They had no idea. I even brought out chairs. We talked and had a wonderful time. But after a while, I started to feel sick. And my head began to ache. And I could hear a low, quick sound. I started to talk louder to cover it up, and the officers couldn't hear it. But they continued to chat and smile at me. They had to know. They knew. They were mocking me. "Villains!" I shrieked. "Here it is. It's the beating of his heart."
And now, for today's story, the Cask of Amontillado. Before we begin, a word from our sponsor, Cleo's Attic.
I can't find it.
What you looking for, hun?
You know that thingy-majig you can use to clamp things together even though it's not permanent? Then again, it could be if you wanted it to be.
You mean pliers?
No, you know.
Can't find the thingamajig you're looking for? No problem. Come on down to Cleo's Attic, where we have every kind of tool you'll ever need. Wrenches, hammers, saws, clamps, and even thingamajigs.
I know. Why don't we go down to Cleo's attic and see if Mr. Hayes has what you're looking for? If he doesn't have it, no one does.
You're right. If Mr. Hayes doesn't have it, no one does.
Hey folks, how are y'all today?
I could be better. I'm looking for one of those thingy-majigs you can use to clamp things together even though it's not permanent.
Cleo's Attic. Remember, if Mr. Hayes doesn't have it,
No one does.
And we're back with today's story, the Cask of Amontillado. Before we begin, perhaps you're wondering a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe.
Poe is considered one of America's greatest writers. He is said to have invented the modern detective story. Let's get to today's story, the Cask of Amontillado.
A little bit about the main character, Montressor. Montressor is a vengeful, manipulative man, so a trusting person, much like any of yourselves, must be wary of him.
Let's pretend Montressor is sitting down with you and sharing his story over a glass of wine at a local drinking establishment. He is dressed in the latest fashion with a stovetop hat, black coattails, and a brocade vest. Although he looks like any ordinary gentleman, there's something sinister in his eyes.
Buonasera, signor. I am very honored you met me for a drink tonight. I understand you're interested in something which occurred nearly 50 years ago? It isn't much of a story, but I'll tell you if you really want to know. There was a man who I despised for one simple reason. He made fun of my family's proud name, Montressor. Now, you may think making fun of someone is enough reason for a topic. I spent many evenings with Fortunato at this very drinking establishment. Fortunato was a strong man, a man to be feared, respected. But he had one weakness. He liked to drink good wine, and he indeed drank much of it.
Montresia, good evening, my friend.
My dear Fortunato! He is no friend of mine, Fortunato. He had sullied my family's name, and I would make him pay for this. I'm indeed glad I have met you, for I was just thinking of you. I've bought a full cask of a fine wine, which they tell me is Amontillado, but I don't think you really want to worry about it.
Amontillado, quite impossible.
Yes, he knew a lot about fine wine. He proudly believed he was a trained judge of them. But I, too, knew old wines well, and I bought the best I could find. I know, dear friend, it does not seem possible that I have a full cask of it. As I could not find you, I was going to talk to Lutresi.
Lutresi? Ha! Lutresi knows nothing about wine. Nothing at all.
Yes, I sought revenge. You must not suppose, however, that I spoke of this to anyone. I must handle my revenge with only greatest care. After all, I must not suffer as a result of taking my revenge. So, how about it?
Come. Let's go
To my vault, I'm guessing?
to your vaults to taste the wine.
As I mentioned, I must not suffer as a result of taking my revenge. A wrong will not be made right in that manner, and a wrong will not be made right unless Fortunato knew that he was paying, and knew who was making him pay.
Yeah, let's just go to your vaults. And Amontillado, someone's playing games with you. And Lutresi, ha! Lutresi knows nothing about wines. Nothing at all.
Come then, friend. We will take my carriage.
Let us go then.
All right, as you wish. Fortunato took my arm, and I allowed him to hurry the carriage to my great stone palace. My family, the Montreses, have lived in this palace for centuries.
Will Fortunato seek revenge as he said? Or will he turn the carriage around and head back to the city? We'll find out in a minute. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Brittany, what are you doing? I thought maybe if I said the Evil Queen's chant from Snow White out loud, it might tell me what my future is. I'm awfully nervous about the student council election.
Don't worry, Brittany. I'm sure you'll do great. Besides, don't you have other things to do, like studying for your math test or practicing your student council speech? Oh, I almost forgot. I bought you the special mirror yesterday.
Special mirror?
Yeah, it's guaranteed to help you see yourself as you really are. I'll see you later.
Are your kids' worries worrying you? Wish you could ask a magic mirror what to do? Then get Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror uses the latest technology in futuristic prediction. That's right. This mirror uses your child's personal information to predict his or her future.
future plans? Well, I want to win Secretary of Student Council. Let's see what this mirror can do. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your attributes. I give myself a 7 for looks and 6 for intelligence.
As the parent, you program all the information into Magic Mirror ahead of time to give your child a positive message. When your kid uses it, the message is always positive and encouraging.
It's ready. That was fast. You have what it takes to win Student Council position of your choice. Your strength, wit, and attributes will serve you well. Congratulations and good luck.
And it's kid safe too. Parents then place safety controls so that only positive messages are displayed.
Mom, guess what? This mirror told me I'd win Student Council Secretary.
So look for Magic Mirror at your nearest bookstore in the self-help book section. That's Magic Mirror. Remember our motto, Magic Mirror shines your best self.
I cannot do this today.
And we're back with today's show story, The Cask of Amontillado. As you may recall, Montressor was about to enter his great stone palace with his nemesis, Fortunato.
After an hour's long carriage walk, we're here.
Your home looks empty. Where are your servants?
Ugh, lazy servants. They always sneak away when I'm not home in the evening. There was no one home, for I told the servants they must not leave the palace, as I would not return until the following morning. This I knew was enough to make it certain that they would leave as soon as my back was turned.
You need better control of them, my friend.
Hey, Fortunato. Take this torch. Gave a torch to Fortunato and led him to a wide doorway. Come, friend, but take heed of the steep steps as you walk. Otto, a few webs. I've not cleaned this place up in years.
Ugh. It's cold and dark down here, just as a good wine cellar should be.
Fortunato's step was not so sure because of the wine he had been drinking. He was trying to see through the thick darkness which pushed in all around us.
Oh, I can't see a thing.
You will in time. We are not that far.
What is this?
Our eyes soon became used to the darkness. We could see the bones of the dead lying in large piles along the walls. Oh, it's nothing you don't know about. It's just the family grave.
How could I forget?
Wondering where this has been. Here. Have some Murdoch. It'll help keep us warm. From the long rows of bottles which are lying on the floor among the bones, I chose one which contained a very good wine. As to not have anything to open it with, I struck the stone wall with it and broke off the neck.
My friend, I drink to the dead lying all around us.
And I, Fortunato, drink to your long life.
A very fine wine indeed, but Amontillado.
It is further along. Come. We continued to go on for some time. We were now under the river's bed, as water fell in droplets upon us from above. Deeper in the ground we went, past more bones.
Your vaults are mighty large, my friend.
We are a great family, and an old one. But I can see that you're not well. I knew going here was a bad idea.
The code is nothing. Let us go on.
Okay.
But first, another drink of your murder.
I took up from among the bones another bottle. Another quite fine wine. A de Grave. Again, I struck the neck of the bottle. Fortunato took it and drank it all without stopping for breath. When he was done, he tossed the wine glass aside, which he had taken from the tavern earlier.
Let's go on.
Okay. In fact, we do not go far, because we are here. We arrived at a vault in which the air was so old and heavy that our lights almost died. Against 3 of the walls were piles of bones higher than our heads. And from the 4th wall, someone had pulled down all the bones. They were scattered in piles all around us. Go on. Amontillado isn't there.
My pleasure.
Fortunato went into the wall. He was quite drunk, but I hurried him immediately. Soon, of course, he reached the back wall. He was standing there, surprised and wondering. On that wall were 2 heavy iron rings. A short chain was hanging from one of these, and a lock from the other. Fortunato, you must feel how the water runs over it. You must. Are you sure you don't want to go back?
No.
Then I must leave you. But first, I must do everything that I can for you.
But Amontillado.
Yes, the Amontillado. As I spoke these words, I began to search among the bones the stones I had earlier taken down from the ground to cover the hold where Fortunato stood, trembling.
Montressa, what are you doing?
I continued working. I could hear him pulling at the chain, shaking it wildly.
It's a very good joke indeed, my friend. We will laugh about it as we drink.
Yes, as we drink the Amontillado.
Montressa, for the love of God.
Yes, for the love of... I heard no more answer. I heard only a soft, low half-cry of fear. I put the old bones back in a pile against the wall, and for half a century now, no human hand has touched them. May he rest in peace. Ooh. Another one tied to the collection. Huh? What? Why don't you have some more wine?
You
have just heard today's story, The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. Thank you. Remember our motto. Remember the motto from our sponsor.
If it's not from Cleo's attic, then you don't need it. And Magic Mirror shines your best self.
We hope you enjoyed today's story. Make sure you stop by and tell the people who helped make this thing possible a big thank you. And stay tuned for the next story.